What is up, everyone? Happy New Year to you. Let's kick this off with a bang. Ultima 7, the best team in January 2020. Let me show you how it's done. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Alternate Reality, and this is Chewburger84, and we're going to do some Marvel Strike Force Ultima 7 gameplay. Now, the team that I'm going to show you is the team that I have been using every day for the last couple of weeks in Ultima 7, and it is kicking some extreme butt, meaning that I can use minimal heals. Now, the good news is these characters can be used at relatively low red stars. Admittedly, I have gotten lucky on some of these tunes since I started, and I'll talk about that as we go. And to get ahead of some of the criticisms of this video, I get it, not everyone has a high-level Black Bolt or a Hela, but hey, I wanted to show you the best team. We'll talk about some easier-to-farm options in a future video. So let's jump into the team. Now, at this stage, and this is a terrible name, feel free to suggest better names for this team below. We're calling it the Yo Hobo team, all right? So Yo for Yo-Yo, Ho as in Hela, and then Bo as in Black Bolt. These three basically form the linchpin and the spine of this team, and finishing out is Scientist Supreme, and then we have Shuri over here as well. So let me talk about why they're all on this team and the roles that they play. So this is my Shuri. Now, I did go pretty deep on her back in the day because, you know, Wakanda was supposed to be the Apex raid team after all. Didn't quite pan out for me. So a lot of these upgrades, you don't necessarily need to make her work. The main reason that she is in this team, folks, is this right here. The fact that she can apply defense up to herself and all allies for 2 turns, and then she can also give ability energy for 2 random allies, okay? This is fantastic because you're going to get some energy for the team, and because of her passive, which allows her to go basically first before anyone else, what's going to happen is she's going to get those defense ups first. In Ultima 7, this is incredibly important because the enemies hit so freaking hard, all right? So you definitely want to have a Shuri-type character in the team. Now, possible substitutes are Vision, if you're using more of a tech-oriented team, because he will give defense up at the start. I like Shuri better, A, for the energy, and B, because she does have a consistent defense up, not just on spawn. Invisible Woman is also a decent replacement, but we have the exact same problem there in the sense that you have to wait quite a while to get the defense up away. And she can actually present a worse problem, is that she highlights a character. All right, she's going to expose a character when she uses her defense up and stealth, and that person is probably going to die. The point of having a tankless team is so that they spread the damage out, all right? Unless RNG goes badly for you, very rarely will the RNG single target a team in Ultima 7. Or single target one character, I should say. Now, Scientist Supreme, let's not underestimate what she does for this squad. Very, very good news is you can get away with almost no red stars on this character. She does become more reliable with higher red stars because with the higher focus, she's going to be able to put more debuffs on the board. Now, her ultimate here, this is really amazing. What it does is basically puts debuffs on all of your characters and all the enemies. Now, I know a lot of you are probably saying, Chew, I don't want to debuff my own team. Well, get used to it because it's the reason this team works, all right? What you would do is you'll get defense up on your team, you'll get heal blocks on your team, you're going to get offense downs on your team, and when she flips those, okay, on the very next turn using her special, this means that you're going to go faster because of speed ups, do more damage because of extra offense, you're going to have more heals because you're flipping heal blocks. It's an incredible combination of abilities, all right? And the fact that they are on such low cooldowns, that basically we're going 1 turn, 2 turn, 3 turn reset, it's wonderful. And sometimes you can actually get it going faster because obviously we have Shuri feeding out random energy, and sometimes it comes to Scientist Supreme. Now, I've only done 1 T4 ability on Scientist Supreme at this stage, specifically for Ultima 7. Don't get me wrong, in an AIM team, there are some down here that are much better to use as well. But this is the only one that I find absolutely necessary for Ultima 7, and that's to flip an additional debuff on your ally. Because flipping a debuff doesn't sound like it's that big a deal, but if you're punching with an offense-upped character into a defense-down enemy, that amount of damage swing is unbelievably good, all right? It's what makes it so you can actually do enough damage to get through these nodes inside the 5-minute timer. Now let's talk about the Yo of the Yo Hobo team, and that is Yo-Yo. Now she is incredible. She has the highest speed statistics in the game with a whopping 140, so she is going all the time. Now, I don't think these abilities are worth at all putting any energy in right now. The only one that you want in this particular team is her basic. You see, what she does on her basic is she calls in a random Inhumans character for an assist. Now, when you have Black Bolt on your team, if you can give him a bonus turn every turn, all right, that you're going to use a basic, that is amazing for two reasons. One, massive damage. Number two, his basic, even on an assist, clears 2 buffs from the enemy. So within one rotation from 2 basics on these characters, you can clear a massive 4 debuffs. So it doesn't matter if they have 2 tanks, you can get rid of both of their taunts and get back to ripping on the primary targets that you want to punch down. Now, in this particular setup, you never use the special ability, okay? You use this whenever it's off cooldown and Black Bolt doesn't have his ult ready. Otherwise, you are always using that assist call to get Black Bolt into the fray. Now, these are the 2 characters that, for me, absolutely rocket through these nodes. Now, I know that many of you are not going to have Black Bolt, and I know that a lot of you won't have Hela at these higher stars. The good news is you don't need it. Now, you may go a little bit slower than me, and that's fine, but even at lower red stars on Hela, everything that she does is all about this ultimate ability right here. You see, what you do with Scientist Supreme is you combine these 2 characters so that Scientist Supreme debuffs the entire team. Now, what happens when you get 1 or 2 kills? The next wave of enemies drop down, and all of a sudden, half of the enemy doesn't have defense down or offense down or speed down, and we need to change that. So leaving this off cooldown, waiting for those jumps in the waves, means that you can almost permanently have the enemy debuffed. And even better, you can choose the enemies that have the best amount of debuffs or the best quality debuffs. You know, things like defense down is always good, speed down is always good, offense down is always good. And with Hela, because of her special as well, you can also get away with Disrupt. Okay, now Disrupt, when I've got the T4 into it, you get it for 2 turns. Meaning if you're going against something like a Hand Sentry, who's going to stealth everyone, or a Loki, and you don't want that to happen, all you do is spread that Disrupt onto everyone on the field, and then Bob's your uncle, no more buffs for those guys. Now, obviously, being 6 red stars, of course I was going to max her completely, but the reality is you don't need to do that. I do see a necessity, however, in these 3. Okay, you definitely want to do her special, because then you get 2 turns of Disrupted, which just take tanks out of the game, okay? Especially the shield securities, which are really annoying in this raid, it just takes them out. They don't do anything after that point. Now, spreading more abilities and doing a little bit more damage is also very good. And then, of course, when it comes to her passive, it doesn't sound like much of a benefit, but the reality is we want this guy to be as annoying as possible. You see, when young Greg over here dies, he's going to heal the most injured Asgardian, which is Hela, and this makes her very, very tanky. All right, she keeps on healing by herself. But the perfect thing about this is every time they accidentally hit this guy, he folds like a piece of paper, and their entire enemy team loses 10% speed bar. Now, this is amazing, because combined with very regular speed downs from characters like Scientist Supreme, it means you can really slow down the enemy team from doing their thing. Now, my favorite character in months has definitely been Black Bolt, because he's the most plug-and-play character in this game, all right? You can basically take him, put him into any team, and he is going to do his job. And his job is to hit things real hard, okay? And you're going to see that he does that very well in this video today. Now, I actually do recommend doing T4s on all of his abilities. Doesn't matter if you have him at 0 yellow stars or 7 red stars, okay? Every single one of these is a good increase. Instead of clearing 1 ability, you're clearing 2. And having 400% damage on a basic is nuts. It's so good, all right? Then, of course, we have his special, doing an extra 100%. Again, amazing, low cooldown, and the fact that it's unavoidable is great. His ultimate, I wish it was on a little bit of a lower cooldown, but Yo-Yo actually spreads a little bit of energy to him with his ult. Sometimes you get lucky and you get the energy from Shuri as well, making this come around faster. When you use this ability, when he has offense up and when they have defense down, things fall off the map. It's a very beautiful thing to perceive. But the passive, oh my God, the passive is my favorite thing about his kit. As soon as someone drops below 25%, woo, they're going to have a bad day. Now, when people summon as well, he also applies Disrupted and clears positive effects off the summoner. This shuts down Ultrons, it shuts down Furies, it shuts down Hellas, all right? It is an amazing ability. Now, another thing that should be pointed out on his basic is that when he does clear 2 positive effects, if that primary target that you hit has slow, he'll flip 2 negative effects of his own, okay? And extend the duration by a little bit. It doesn't say that in the text, but you'll see that when we play. All right, so that's the team. That's the Yo-Hobo team. So we're talking Black Bolt, Hela, Yo-Yo, Scientist Supreme, and Shuri. The good news is this team will work to at least the 60% barrier on Ultima 7 with almost no red stars. Of course they perform better at higher reds. Of course these characters are hard to farm. I hate that about this, but it is the best Ultima 7 team as of January 2020. So why don't we show you a couple of the mid lane hard nodes to show you just how effective this team can be. All right, so we're going to be going up the mid lane today, folks. Now, these first 2 nodes, pretty much most of the teams getting around at the moment can beat them simply enough. This first mini-boss node here is very reasonable to take down with this team in one shot. You can get unlucky with the RNG, and we're going to show you that in an upcoming video. Now, I literally just tried to record this video and the game crashed, hence why I'm already here. So let's try this again. Okay, so there's the team. Yo-Hobo. Let's get it on. Yeah, I'm looking forward to some of those comments in the section below, guys. Give me a better name for this team. Unless we embrace Yo-Hobo, in which case, I'm on board. Alrighty then. Now, the game has been quite unstable since Black Bolt came in. There's a multitude of bugs. I've had to put in so many tickets to keep getting Raid and Arena energy back, and it's mainly because of Black Bolt just wrecking too much too fast, and the game just does not know what to do with itself. Alright. Okay, so because we just wiped out our Greg, that means we get 10% speed bar wiped off of all them, which is awesome, especially on characters like Cage and Venom, who are naturally quite slow. Now we're going to put a 2-turn Disrupt out to make sure there's no taunts coming out of that Cage either. Alright, we've got an offense down, we want to flip that, so we're going to target Iron Fist with a speed down. That's going to flip our 2 buffs, so now we have 2 turns of offense up, which is really, really good. Especially because when we do his ultimate on the next turn, he's going to be able to punch through this wave pretty quick, with the exception of Iron Fist and the others because they did have defense up. Alright. Now, we're going to start chipping away at this Punisher. She'll flick out a second attack over to the Deadpool. He went below the 25%, and that means that he dies a very horrible death. Clearing the defense up with the passive, this is actually really bad news. Alright, so now we got really lucky that we got the immediate res from Scientist Supreme. God damn, she is a good character. We're going to heal her straight back up, make sure that Hela's around for the next couple of minutes. We're going to hit Punisher, get him wiped out with the passive as well. We're going to try and finish off this Iron Fist because we don't want any heals for these guys. The unfortunate thing about having Hela down in that rotation is that we didn't get the chance to spread straight away those abilities that we had on them to the rest of their team. Alright, it was off cooldown, it was ready to go, but unfortunately she died at horrible, horrible timing. We're going to slow down the cap because we don't want an AoE defense down if we don't have to. Defense up, I should say. Alright, in fact, let's just clear him out completely. Alright, that Black Bolt, my god, the damage is real. Alright, so we're looking okay on this node. We've got about 3 minutes left. There's only 6 enemies remaining. Obviously, there is a risk position coming up soon with Iron Fist about to ult. Everyone else is normally not that bad to deal with. You might get a real dodgy Spider-Man from time to time. And his ult with the stun can sometimes be irritating if he takes out one of your key damage players. But we'll take that as it comes. Let's spread the debuffs because we do have a fair bit of time. Alright, once you get under a minute, that's where it goes. Now, you may have noticed something that I should have pointed out earlier that I'm sure someone would have been typing furiously into chat going, Chewy, why do you have 2 Gregs? Now, this is one of the beautiful things that if Hela does die on this node, or any node for that matter, but the other remaining Greg doesn't die, when she spawns, she summons another one. And as long as she doesn't die, both of them keep rezzing. Now, this is awesome when you're on an enemy team that has lots of AoE, because it means that they're going to consistently wipe off 20% of their own turn meter every time they do splash damage, which is awesome. Now, one particular set of characters, and you might have noticed that I'm targeting the Carnages first. Normally, I wouldn't recommend this. But because there are 2 Gregs, if 2 of them are dying, that means that the Carnages are getting double the regen as well. So we don't want that. That can spiral out of control. Let's conserve this ult for the next node, actually. Because we've got, plenty of time up our sleeves. Still got a minute 36. We're looking fine. All right, he hasn't got any debuffs left on him, so we better change that. Okay, let's clear the Iron Fist now. All right, let's make sure that Carnage gets out of here. This will finish him off. Beautiful. All right, let's try and get Spidey off the map. As I said, sometimes you get a real dodgy Spider-Man, but that's what Black Bolt is for. Punching him in his face. Okay, so what's great about this is we got really lucky towards the end, despite a relatively bad opening, in the sense that we have pretty much everything available off cooldown. Black Bolt's ult is ready to go. I think Yo-Yo's is even ready to go now, meaning we can get a good opening start on this next node. All right, next up is a node that a lot of people have asked me, is it possible to one-shot it? What's the best team for it? And that is the Ultron Mercs and Minions node, the one with all the Ultron bots. Now, with this team, we actually make one change, and that is taking out Yo-Yo for Minerva. The reason being is that the opening wave, you have a War Machine and an Iron Man. If they both get offense up, and you cannot get offense down on both of them, you will lose people, okay? If you get really, really unlucky, you'll lose both Minerva and Scientist Supreme, and it is over, all right? That can happen no matter what team you pick. So let's go through this one. But yeah, having Minerva just gives us that backup res, which on this node is way, way, way important compared to obviously getting that extra damage and that offense out from the Yo-Yo-Yo. All right, so this one's not quite Yo-Hobo, but it's not far away. All right, let's see if we get lucky. Now, if energy goes to Greg, that can be quite good as well, because when energy goes to Greg, it means that it didn't do it, but it means that he can die first, meaning that you can use Hela to get a disrupt out on that War Machine before he gets offense up. In this case, we can stop the Iron Man from getting the offense up. Now, if we get really lucky here, we'll get offense down on both of them. We didn't get it on War Machine, which means we're about to eat a lot of damage. All right, I'm going to use the flip here on the basic. I didn't get to clear the offense up, which would have been wonderful on him. And now we're going to lose. Oh, I thought for sure Minerva was going to die there. We will use the AoE ult here because he has offense up. They all have defense down. That gets rid of our War Machine, gets a small heal up on Minerva, and just buys us half a second so that we can get this res off. And then that immediately goes into almost Shuri's turn. And then she can get a heal, which buys us some time. And then we can use the Minerva heal on the next one to start up and rolling. All right, we'll get this for damage only. Now that's going to kill almost all of them except Iron Man. That seems like a great thing, but it's actually a really bad thing, because what's going to happen now is that we're actually about to trigger the next wave. And you actually don't want that, because it means we're going to have a lot of their AoE heavy hitters on the screen. What did I tell you? All right, what we might do here is actually aggressively use the heal just to get that extra kill. Focus down on this War Machine. There's not as many buffers on the map now, so that buys us a little bigger wiggle room. All right. Now, that would have been lovely if we had it. What we want to do is actually get offense down on one of these Iron Men, because we're not going to be able to live through two ults. We take off the offense up away from the War Machine, and that means the only real threat right now is this front Iron Man in there. All right, he's the only one that's going to hit with that special with full damage. All right, so now we're in better shape to potentially finish this. What we're going to do is disrupt. We're going to disrupt this Iron Man here so that he doesn't get another shot. We need to get this offense up away from that Iron Man. So that means we're probably going to use a basic over here from the Black Bolt, which we're going to do now. There we go. Offense up is gone. And that means they're going to be more wet noodling it now. We should probably try and get rid of this War Machine pretty quick. We've got this significant speed advantage now thanks to that flip on Scientist Supreme. Going to finish out the War Machine, and now we can start picking them apart. Go the Iron Men first, Keep your heals up as much as you can now. And now, obviously, we need to be aware of our defensive cooldowns. All right, we don't want to go into the next node. They've still got a bit of damage, though, so we don't want to lose that Hela if we don't have to. All right, 1 hit, 2 hit, goes into the red. Passive from Black Bolt. I will actually use this defense up just because I don't want to risk it here. I'm going to use the special from Black Bolt, get another passive strike out. Do we have offense down, offense down? Yes, we do. Let's add another offense down over here just in case. The better choice would have been the guy with offense up, but that's what happens when you're trying to play this in under 5 minutes, I suppose. Panicky, panicky, and then you just make the wrong move. I really would love to see the raid timer extend, or, you know, just some sort of a power increase to all of us to be able to offset some of this. But them's the breaks, see? All right, let's try and get a slow on this guy. We don't get it, but that's not a big deal. All right, we'll finish off the Iron Man, and then we get into these final 3. Now, sometimes it could be considered a better idea to kill the 2 green minions first, purely because they're obviously firing out some more heals, but it's not that big a deal. I mean, they all fall pretty fast. Now, with Black Bolt on the team here, he actually does a lot more damage when you kill a enemy tech character. So a villain tech character, you're going to do a lot more damage using Black Bolt's passive. So when they drop below 25%, the damage is very, very, very real. Okay, we need to get a move on here because time is actually running against us. We don't want to time out when we got this close. All right, so another second hit there. We may actually need to punch out something special from the Black Bolt just to skip ahead a little bit on time. As you see, that did a bit. We really need a defense down here out of our Scientist Supreme. That way Black Bolt can do a bit of mischief. We didn't get it, so now it's basically just keep spamming that basic button until we can try and get this kill inside the time frame. All right, we got the defense down there. Okay, we got it with 14 seconds to spare, one-shotting one of the more difficult nodes of this raid in the pre-60% section anyway. All right, now we're going to show you the Fury boss. This is generally a 2-hit attempt. I haven't gotten close to soloing it, always about 5 at least left over. But who knows, maybe today's our lucky day. Okay, so time for the Fury boss now. So that means we're going to head back into the Yo Hobo team. So I need to scroll down here and find my good friend Yo-Yo, because it wouldn't be the Yo without the Yo-Yo. All right, now I really love how much Black Bolt impacts this node. So what happens is Nick Fury is going to come down, and previously you wanted to use your Ultron's basic first, not his summon, to strip away the buffs that Nick Fury has so that he can't spread them. But what you're about to see in this node, thanks to Black Bolt's passive, when Nick Fury summons down, okay, after Shuri takes her turn, he's immediately going to get his debuffs cleared, his buffs cleared, and he's going to eat an unfortunate little disrupt. So now he's not going to be sharing his buffs with anyone. Okay, now what we're going to do here is get a second disrupt out on the security. I want to save the Hela ult for a more critical moment, I think, because we're going to get Scientist Supreme. We're going to get Scientist Supreme do her thing very soon with this AoE. Now, the Deadpools on this node when you're using this particular team can be a little bit of a pain, because what happens is, oh, that stun's bad timing. All right, the good news is we're going to be able to have Scientist Supreme flip all 4 of those, I believe. Yes, sir. All right. All right, so now he's got a counter as well. All right, I think I want the extra damage on the Deadpool as opposed to... Oh, I forgot about that minion. All right, we've got an offense up here, so it'd be nuts not to use it early, because this node, there's a lot of minions, and we need to get through them as quickly as we can. All right, let's actually clear out this little fella up here. Get a bit of damage. Okay, now we've got the disrupt up still on shield security, and what we're going to do is we're going to use him to spread that to the rest of this team, which should nullify Hand Sentry being able to do his thing. All right, now it's 2 turns as well. Now the only one that's not going to get it is Mystique. Now this might seem crazy, but the biggest threat on the board right now is actually Mystique. The reason being is that in this particular node, Black Bolt with an offense up, if he ends up hitting one of your team, they are dead, right? It's actually a liability. Here we go. Okay, lucky enough it was Shuri with her wet noodle, so we're okay. All right, we got very, very, very lucky there, as a matter of fact. Now this should kill Fury. Oh, damn close. All right, so as you saw, the only one that really got to reap the benefits of that was the Mystique, and even then, not really getting that much. We're going to punch this out into the Shield Trooper, just to try and avoid as much splash damage as possible. Although with Greg, you always want him to eat the splash damage whenever you can, because obviously that's going to be more turn meter for your team. Now, delaying the AoE debuffs like I did just then, it was good because I can hold it off for a moment with Scientist Supreme, but it's bad in the sense that now I don't have any major buffs on my team. That's just going to be delaying it by one turn. Going to change target so that Greg dies from Shield Trooper, wiping off some more turn meter. Punch into the Shield Trooper, get the passive proc, and now we spread the debuffs onto their team. Okay, defense up, which mitigates the defense down on me, buys us a little bit of time. The assist from Black Bolt will get very close to killing the Trooper, and then we're on our way. Now, we do actually want to get a kill here before we get... Not quite, actually. Let's get the Mystique close to down. We want to try and get as close as we can to that next ult from Hela, so that when the next one drops, if not her, at least Scientist Supreme is able to debuff. Now, we still got 9 people left, so we're actually in pretty bad shape right now, just because there is a lot of people to come, and some really irritating ones as well. All right. Now, we don't want Loki to get too much mischief, so I'm just going to put that on him for now. All right, splash that out to there. We're going to put on that so Greg dies. I might actually focus down the Loki for now. The Deadpool may have been the smarter choice. We've got an offense up here, so it'd be crazy not to take it. Get that passive hit onto the Shield Trooper. Try and get an offense down onto the cable. Not quite. And now, what we want to try and do is slow Deadpool as quickly as we can, if we can. All right, so let's do this so we get the guaranteed defense down on him. That would have been worth waiting 2 seconds for me to do that on Hela, actually. But it is what it is. We want Deadpool to die, because if you don't get him low enough, he will heal to full health, and you've wasted effectively a full rotation. Now, that is going to happen to me right now, so we might as well bite the bullet and go for the AoE from our Scientist Supreme anyway. Fury's just gotten to Disrupt, which is really nice, because he's not going to be able to do his normal buffing of this team. So our job now, because we're so close to the finish line, is to preserve our cooldowns as much as possible. All right, let's get some heals out. If we can take down this Deadpool, we will, but he's just going to get one more turn, I think, before we get to do anything major. Yeah, there we go. So he actually took a large chunk of health away from our Scientist Supreme. It's not the world's greatest thing for us, but it's also not the world's worst. All right, so we finished in reasonable shape on that. We've still got 9 on the board, and what we're going to do is use some energy to just go straight back into that node and try and finish this off. Okay, so launch straight back into it. Now, unfortunately, we had to use a lot of unnecessary energy today because there is a bug that's happening with me and Black Bolt at the moment, where the game basically just crashes when certain enemy characters try to res, and his passive had killed them. So we're waiting on that fix from Fox next. Hopefully that's coming through very soon, because it is costing me so many cores right now trying to do some of these things for our alliance, and of course these videos for you guys. All right. Now, the fact that you can do this in 2 energy just by yourself on solo is obviously great for your lane partner, because it frees them up to be able to do a little bit more damage on the next node, and maybe they take a little bit more slack on the Ronin boss when you get further up into the middle of this lane. All right, we want to try and slow this guy down. We didn't get a slow. That's not perfect, but not the end of the world. I'm going to use the special, not the ult, because I'm going to wait until we get an offense up on Black Bolt, which hopefully we'll get on the next Scientist Supreme AoE. Now, because we didn't get as much of a slow as I would have liked on Deadpool, he did get quite a quick turn, and that resulted in him obviously getting out that little bit of heal damage. All right, what we're going to do is keep chipping away at him with the non-debuff attacks, giving us a better opportunity to actually kill that Deadpool. All right, normally I would say hit the character next to him, but there isn't one. Deadpool is going to heal here, unfortunately, but them's the break sometimes, unfortunately. All right, we might get pretty close with this assist actually, and then the proc. Okay, good. That's a great little combo. All right, we tipped that well. So now we're down to 4. We've got nearly 4 minutes left. This is quite easy. In fact, if we had better RNG on that first run, it would have been fascinating to see how close we actually could have gotten to one-shotting this node. But there was a couple of misclicks from myself. There was also a couple of things that didn't go our way. I should have shut down that shield security who got that critical taunt off on that Deadpool. If we were able to drop him a little bit faster, I think this would have been a very, very, very close situation for a one-shot. I haven't pulled that off yet. I've gotten a little bit better run than we did just now. But still, 2 energy with no real deaths is nothing to sneeze at. Although we did have to use 1 set of healing energy on our Scientist Supreme. So this is it, folks. This is the Yo Hobo team, or whatever we end up coming up with a name with you guys over the next week. It works really, really well. Obviously, at this stage, it's not really a farmable team. So what I was finding to be just as, well, not quite as effective, because Black Bolt is a game changer, is instead of having your Black Bolt and instead of having your Yo-Yo, you switch those 2 characters for Minerva and Ultron. That's what I was using to clear up until the Ronin boss previously. Admittedly, I was having to core some days for energy to get to that point. At the moment, we're really not having to core for energy at all, unless I'm doing videos like this, of course, up until this boss. And this is wonderful news, okay? Because that means if we did want to push, the 2 mid laners only really need to clear these 2 nodes, and they're not easy, folks, by themselves, and then the rest of the team can help out with the top end. So this team works wonderful in the mid lane, which is the hard lane. It works well on the outside lanes. What do you think? Do you wish you had this team? I really hope you already do have this team and you're using it to the same effect. If you have any questions, make sure you put them below or join our Discord, which is discord.me/ANR. We also put infographics up for a lot of these characters and our team recommendations up on our website, which is alternerdreality.com. Scroll right down to the bottom and you'll see the Marvel Strike Force resources page. So I've been Chewburger84 and cheers for watching. See you soon.